Now, EVs are becoming more and more common, but hot EVs still remain a relatively niche market. But that may be set to change with this, the new Brabus #1, with even more power, all-wheel drive capability, and a pretty decent charging speed as both AC and DC. This is one very hot tamale. And today, we're going to take a very quick walk around to tell you everything you need to know about the new smart #1 Brabus edition. My name is AIMAN ABDULLAH, this is MalaysianMotoring, and this is going to be very fast indeed. So before we get into the spicy bits, we are going to start with a few key stats, which is why I have my piece of paper. So underneath the skin, you will find a 66 kilowatt hour battery, which is a nickel cobalt manganese battery, or basically the same batteries that you find in other vehicles. And that gives this car a WLTP certified range of 400 kilometers, which means realistically you can expect anywhere between 350 to 400 thereabouts. Now, charging for this car can be done up to 22 kilowatts AC, which means if you have a 3-phase charger at home, this car can charge from dead to full in just 3 hours. Now, if you're charging via DC, it can accept up to 150 kilowatts, which means this car can charge from 10 to 80% in just 29 minutes. And on top of that, this car also comes with a vaunted V2L system, which means that you can use this as a massive power bank if you go, I don't know, camping. Now, more importantly, I'm sure what you want to know is the power. So this relatively diminutive C-segment crossover has 428 PS and 543 Newton meters of torque, with 0 to 100 completed in just 3.9 seconds. This is as fast as a supercar. However, where supercars go to about 200 miles an hour, this will top out at 180 kilometers an hour. So don't try chasing that Urus too long on the North-South Highway. Now, compared to the smart #1 Premium, the Brabus model gets a few look-at-me bits. Firstly, you get this lovely matte paint, which I think is an option, but it looks fantastic, especially when paired to the dual-tone red accents on the roof and on the door mirrors. The wheels remain 19 inches, shared with the Premium, but the design is very different and they are wrapped in high-performance Dunlop tires, which means you should have no issues scrabbling for grip even on full throttle. Now, when you look down the side, you'll be able to see quite a few of these very interesting features when it comes to the Brabus #1. You still have the same matrix LED headlights shared with other models, as well as this very nice front valance, although you do get red accents both on the bottom edge of the bumper as well as on the grille inserts themselves. What's worth noting is that the Premium model has the illuminated grille, but it's illuminated in white, whereas in the Brabus, it's illuminated in red. You also get smart badging done in black and these fake vents up here, which do nothing except differentiate the vehicle from other cars within the lineup. You get more of those red accents down the side, you get black roof rails up here, but you still get the illuminated smart logo on the C-pillar, which I think looks really cool indeed. The other thing that I find cool about all smart #1s is actually the frameless doors. I don't know why, I just really like them. Now, if you remember from certain older generation Mercedes-Benz models, you'll remember that their positioning lights had this something called a stardust effect, where the light refracted on a nice surface thereabouts. This looks like a digital reinterpretation of that down here, and I do really like the motif, as well as this full-width LED light bar mirroring what we saw in the front. Now, back here you will find the usual badging done in black, but also the Brabus badge down here along with a few more red accents, again to differentiate this from the more pedestrian front-wheel drive slower models. Now, if you open the tailgate, it is electric because this is a premium car. You will find a pretty good amount of space back here. It is not the biggest in the world. It's probably slightly smaller than what you get from a Proton X50, but it is genuinely not that bad. And this parcel shelf can of course be removed for more space. Underneath this false floor, you will find plenty of room for not only the chargers, which I think look quite cool, but also for even more stuff should you need to release a little bit more room back here. Although, that said, some space is robbed by the subwoofer for this car's standard Beats audio system. All very cool. But if you ask me, it's in here where not only the Brabus #1, but also the regular Smart #1 feels like a truly upmarket place to be. The first thing that strikes you, obviously, is this design, which seems very concept car-like. Everything is nice and smooth, and even this metallic-y type material up here is not shiny, which means it shouldn't be easy to scratch, and it doesn't show up fingerprints or dust very well. You have these lovely aircon vents which are highlighted with some more ambient lighting again, which makes it just look really upmarket and premium, and they move with a very premium feel to them too. You even have ambient lighting over the tweeters for the Beats audio system, which I certainly appreciate. Now, in terms of material quality, everything in here is what you'd expect from the #1. It's not unique to the Brabus, so everything here is very high quality and relatively nice to feel and nice to hold. The lining for the roof is done up in black instead to make this car feel a little bit more driver-centric. Everything that would have been light is now dark in this car, again, to give it a driver-focused feel. Adding to that, of course, are these seats, which are the same design overall, but they are done up in a slightly different material. So for the Brabus, you get this microfiber Alcantara type material in the center with these sort of faux leather all the way on the outside, replete with some red stitching. Again, making it feel nice and cool. You also have Alcantara here on the steering wheel. Again, very upmarket, very driver focused indeed. I certainly want to go drive one. There's even an illuminated Brabus badge down here, assuming the stitched Brabus logo in the headrest are not enough for you. Now, of course, these two front seats are powered. They're also ventilated, again, to make this car feel a little bit more comfortable. You also have this full-size panoramic moonroof, which looks fantastic. And as far as I'm concerned, this feels like the car, or rather like the money that it's asking for, particularly when you get into the tech. So you have this freestanding display here, which is unique to the #1. It comes with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as standard. But what Smart is very keen to point out is the fact that this integrated head unit is able to navigate you to chargers and also display whether or not they are occupied, which means the idea is if you're transitioning to a Smart #1 as your first electric vehicle, it'll make life a lot easier. And unlike a Tesla, this is not the only screen, because up ahead of me, there's like this little pillbox style screen right up front, which shows me all of my important information, things like the doors, the speed, the regen, my distance to empty, and my battery status, all displayed very neatly here. Now, sure enough, some people have said that this display is not strictly necessary because Tesla has demonstrated that you only need one of these. However, I prefer having a screen here because it gives me all the pertinent information that I need while I can use this screen for other things. But if I don't want to look at this, there is also a full color heads-up display right in front of me showing me the majority of the information that I need, which means, again, life is made very easy. The other thing that makes life easy is the entry and exit of this car, because as standard, when you open and close the door, this driver's seat will actually move out of the way in order to make ingress and egress a little bit easier. But not that it really has to do that, because generally space in this car is quite good, as demonstrated in the back, where, as you can see, with this seat set up in my driving position, I have plenty of knee room and plenty of headroom despite this panoramic sunroof, which, by the way, does come with a sunshade. Now, one of the things I like about being back here is because of all this glass, including the panoramic sunroof, you have a very airy feel in here despite the dark cabin. And everything in here just feels so nice to touch and to hold. There are some scratchy plastics about the place, but it really isn't all that bad. I have a couple of aircon vents or crotch coolers, since they're pointed all the way down there. I have a USB-A and USB-C port, a little cubby. I also have cup holders and an armrest here, which again makes everything feel very comfortable. Now, obviously back here, the Brabusness isn't quite so obvious. You don't get the Brabus stitching on the headrest because you don't need it. You still have these sort of red accents on the side of the headrest to denote that, and you still get the red seat belts, which I certainly appreciate. But in terms of practicality, this is certainly a great place to be. These doors open relatively wide, which means a rear-facing child seat shouldn't be too difficult to get in. But more importantly, this car comes with 3 ISOFIX mounts, one on either of these seats and one in the front passenger seat, which means theoretically you could put one child there, one child here, and your spouse can sit here and enjoy plenty of space should you want to be closer to your kids, or if you don't like looking at your spouse, which would be very unfortunate. But overall, the Brabus #1 to me demonstrates that you can have a lot of fun in an EV without compromising practicality. Now, before we leave you, there are 2 more things we have to touch on. First is safety. Now, the Brabus, or rather the Smart #1 Brabus, to give it its full name, is very well equipped indeed. In fact, Smart is saying that these cars come with level 2 plus semi-autonomy, which means you get things like adaptive cruise control, autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection, front collision mitigation, rear collision mitigation, emergency lane keep assist, lane departure warning, lane prevention, lane change assist, automated lane change assist, which we've only seen in much more expensive vehicles, as well as evasive maneuver, front cross traffic alert, rear cross traffic alert, blind spot detection, traffic sign recognition, door opening warning, highway assist, traffic jam assist, the adaptive high beams I mentioned earlier, full autonomous parking, which I intend to test when this car eventually comes out, as well as a 360-degree camera with park assist. That was a very long list indeed. And if you don't want to remember it all, it's fine. Just know that this car is chock full of safety stuff, which I intend to test in full when this car comes out. Now, because this car hasn't come out yet, there is a matter of price. Now, we have been given a rough indication that this will be somewhere beyond 200,000 ringgit. We are not sure how far, but I reckon it should be about 230 to 250,000 ringgit, which does sound like a lot of money for what is ultimately a C-segment crossover. But again, bear in mind that this has the chops to keep up with a supercar from 0 to 100. It's fast 911, several Ferraris in a car that can fit 3 child seats. So, if you are interested in this and you want to know more about the Smart #1, please hit the comment section below, or you can read our articles on MalaysianMotoring.com. You can check us out on our socials, where we'll have a lot more content about this car, and we'll be open to answering any questions that you might have. But until then, this concludes our walk around of the Smart #1 Brabus. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icons, and notified every time we make a new upload. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All the links are in the description below. You can also follow us on WhatsApp. The link is also in the description. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care and stay safe.